want the fans to have their seat. We want to score goals. We want to get momentum on our side. And then on the flip side is when we don't have the ball, it got to be dogs.
You can go into feet, you can go in behind. But because his touch is so good, a couple of goals last time.
No, you're good, bro.
And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Afterburn Soccer Show. Of course, want to start that show off with that clip there of Logan Farrington with that perfect first touch on that ball over the top from Romero. It started the route. That started the 4-0 FC Dallas victory over DC United in DC. So a big weekend. Nice to be back. Nice to have soccer to talk about. Of course, my name is Nathan Hill. You can follow me at Afterburn Soccer. Of course, follow us at afterburn.soccer for news articles, clips, other goodies over the course of the week. We're excited to have you all joining us tonight. We want your comments, your questions as we break down some results. But of course, with me, our good friends, Jose at El Chico Carmona.
What's up, everybody?
Our buddy Chris at C. Wintus.
What's going on?
And putting in the hours there, Colin at Mr. Coov. Yeah. And rocking his Mavs jersey, who they had a nice win over the Lakers. I saw that. Good stuff. But yeah, it was good. Had that couple of weeks off, international break for FC Dallas and North Texas, but both teams back in action. Both teams got big road wins. We'll start with FC Dallas, and let's just do how I like to start things off with this 4-0 win in DC. Just reactions. What'd you love from this performance? Jose, we'll start with you.
Oh, you're asking me first? Man, I got all emotional watching that game. Look, this team is good. Bottom line is, okay, yeah, I know there's people who are going to go out there and say, hey, slow your horses, this and that. You're not MLS contenders. You're right, not MLS contenders. But whatever is right below that, that's where FC Dallas has. I mean, I'm trying not to get too excited. All the flaws and weaknesses that FC Dallas had before this game, they're still there. But that performance was a complete team performance. I mean, you just knew you were watching two teams on two completely separate levels watching that match. And so I know I've seen some people try to, oh, it's just DC United, this and that. Look, DC United had allowed 4 goals in their previous games total and came in as considered a solid defense. And FC Dallas just did what they wanted to. Look, 4-0 is an impressive win, but let's not kid ourselves. It should have been a higher score. And let's be honest, we've said that for the last 3 games. For the last 3 games, this team left goals on the pitch that should have, been converted. 11 goals in 3 matches. Look, I'm excited. We're not going to play the LAFCs and Inter Miamis of the world every week, not even every month. But this is as comprehensive a road win as I've ever seen. And I'm just too excited after that match to say anything reasonable. That's not overly biased. So yeah. Next person, please.
I mean, there's context here. No one thinks DC United is a contender, but you got to beat. You beat who you play, and any team at home is going to be a matchup.
But they're not a bad team. People can't turn around and say they're a bad team. After that loss, they're still 6th place. I believe they're 6th place in the East. I could be wrong. It might be 8th place. Still, if this playoff started today, which is ridiculous, of course, they'd be a playoff team. So let's give Dallas some. It's very hard to win on the road in MLS unless you're playing against Orlando. But outside of that,
Oof.
this was not a bad team. People can't just turn around and go, "Hey, this is a bad team. You guys beat a bad team, or you beat a shorthanded team." This was a solid win as you're going to see on the road from FCD, and I don't care how people paint it. It's impressive. Let's enjoy it at least for a week.
Yeah. Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I want to echo a lot of what Jose said. DC United might not be in that first tier of teams, but they're a solid team. And like Jose was saying, it's hard to win in the MLS, and you're given a sort of schedule ahead of time, and you just have to play the people that are in front of you. And I feel like sometimes with FC Dallas in the past, it was like we dropped points where we should have, and we might have a great game against someone that's really good, but like we've been putting up solid results week after week, including this game against DC United, and honestly, everyone looked solid, even without Capis and Valiente, who are two of the most prominent midfielders on this team. Like we still did an or Johansson. Yeah, like I mean, there's just so many different rotations that we had, and we were still firing in all cylinders. So really loved the performance. I have to give a shout out to my guy Ramiro, because quietly a really good performance from him with that first assist, and then drawing the PK for the second one. So, or the free kick rather. But I was happy with their performance. The defense looked solid. Ibiaga, aside from I think really that first shot on goal for DC United, played well as So just overall pleased with the performance. Hope to see them continue stringing along some nice points for the team. So I was happy with it.
Yeah, I guess it looks like our Colin's on the phone, so we'll come back.
I want to add a little.
Colin? Okay, Colin, go ahead. Give us your thoughts. Your thoughts on this big win.
I mean, Jose and Chris kind of mentioned it, but for me, it was more like it could have been more. So, my girlfriend was getting annoyed when I was watching the game because we were at the bowling alley. I was with my buddies while we were watching it, and I was like, I made the agreement. I'll wait 20 minutes to not watch, and she didn't know it was halftime, so it worked out. But it was one of those where that Delgado set piece looked really, really nice. Something that we've seen him attempt those before and they haven't come off, usually hitting the wall, or he'll try to go under and no one jumps. So for that to come off, I think it's going to be a big confidence boost for him. I don't know how we move forward if we're going to keep Delgado. I think it's more just a rotation piece for Delgado to play, and also his play style fit the play style we wanted for our midfield. But something that I like is y'all mentioned no Valiente starting, no Capis, which those are usually starters in the most recent games. This just shows me that we have so much versatility, and everyone's kind of been saying, like, we don't need another midfielder when Benjamin was signed, and we didn't need this, we didn't need that. Seeing how Quill has rotated, I don't think we've seen the same three midfielders or so early on in 3 or more games. I think it was some stat like that. It's 3 or 4 games so far. We have not seen the same set of 3. And by set of 3, I'm usually thinking the 2 box 8s and then usually the 10 underneath. Because sometimes it looks like a 10 underneath with Farrington and Musa up top, or sometimes Farrington will drop, or we'll have the 2-10 set up like with Valiente and Kaique, where it was like they're playing underneath as like 10. Valiente has a 10, or even as a winger sometimes, like that weird, like shifty midfielder's place. We haven't seen the same like core midfield in more than 4 games this season. And that shows me that, and they've all been for different setups. Kaique and Valiente to trigger the press early with Capis and Ramiro behind them. This game, it was more sit back and be more composed, but Ramiro was still pressing up high for where Ramiro doesn't really press. He was still pressing up high this game when needed, but they got a high line. It's one of those where I see us, this midfield, we kept having so many question marks, like who's the starter and whatever. I would say pretty much every centimeter that can touch the pitch is going to be a starter this season. And I don't think we'll ever see a consistent midfielders, except for maybe obviously Kaique seems to be pretty consistent playing that 10 or 8. Kappas seems consistent until this game, and then probably Ramiro. Those are probably your core three. And then Valiente and Moreno, I mean, once they start playing together, I think those are going to be your core underneath. Is Farrington the man left out? Is, Moreno going to take a while? Is Valiente left out? Someone's going to have to hit the bench, or constantly be in rotation. Quill's got to be careful not to do that, because what if you murder someone's form? What if Kaike or Kappas or Valiente is on a really good run of form? You bench him for a game or two and they lose that momentum. It could hurt the team later on. So it's one of those playing with fire in a sense. It's good to have that depth. It's good to have that rotation. But that's my one critique is being careful, not losing that rotation or that momentum, because we've seen that happen before where Dallas had an abundance of wingers back in the day, and we thought, oh, Escobar, Barrios, Castillo, Lamont, like all these wingers coming in. Well, look what it ended up with us having the same roster of Lamar, who was only good for like a 6 week stretch, and then Giassi, who played 5 games. So it's one of those, the midfielders. It's good to have, but just got to be careful with them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that on the positive side. I mean, I think this is Quill's dilemma is just that there's good depth. We have a lot of competition. Who do you run out for the different opponents? And really, I felt like Kappas in the last couple of games looked a little run down. I mean, he looked a bit tired. As well as he came in last summer playing for this team was a bit of a revelation. Um, he maybe hasn't been at that level. He's been but fine, solid, and so I just think it shows this the gift of that, being able to rest some guys, but also the challenge of trying to get trying to get the right set of guys for each opponent, and you almost have an embarrassment of riches, which could be a good thing if you're thinking that, hey, we can make some moves in the summer if the right another piece comes open and we can make some trades or something, but. It's a good problem for them to have, and
I
I
just
think we
want to
saw it on display.
I want to add a little on that. I think, not to contradict Coop, just going to point the opposite side of that coin is it allows Quill to take whoever had the hot,
Sure.
uh, the great practice. He's got all those midfielders, and there's really not much separating the midfielders from each other. So he can afford to say, "Hey, this guy's is played out on practice. I can reward him by starting him." And yes, you're going to miss out on the hot hand at times, but the consistency of consistently having your best players uh, out there for every match, and not the fact that it's not always the same combination. That's a strength to you, because who does your opponent prepare for? Which formation you're going to roll out? I think it's a great dilemma to have. We don't really have that much depth at every position, but midfield seems to be the one area where we seem to have a lot of depth, and I'm pretty happy about that.
Goal scorers, we had Farrington with his fourth of the year, which is fun to note just because he had 5 all of last season. So he's going to break that number. It's just a matter of if he can get on keep getting minutes, getting on a tear. Does he double that? Does he get into double digits? I mean, this going to be a fun thing to watch. Of course, Saze getting his first year, Delgado with that.
We have a legitimate chance to have 2 double-digit scorers in the team for the first time since I can recall. I mean, I can remember the last time we had 2 strikers that could come in and score for you. So I think there's an outside chance that happens this year, and who knows? We still haven't seen what Valiente and Moreno can offer once they're on the pitch. Right now, I would say 2 potential double-digit scorers, but I haven't seen what the other guys are. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a double-digit assist guy on the team. Is what I want to say. Also, so I'm pretty excited about this attack. This offense is currently running on all cylinders.
Yeah, Delgado, that free kick was just nasty. And
that's typical Delgado, by the way. Delgado, come on now. We were not enamored with the way he was playing out there. Typical Delgado. He's very inconsistent, but a play like that is the reason why he continues to get starts. He's on the same thing as Bernie Kamungo. 2 very inconsistent players who you sit there and go, man, I kind of hope they yank him at halftime. And then next thing you know, they pull something like that, and you're like, okay, never mind, carry on. That's just the way they are.
Yeah. I mean, Valiente comes in off the bench and gets an assist. Great free kick there, cross. Musa
Yeah,
just cleans
gorgeous.
up the ball. Gets his 6th of the year, so he just won behind Sam Surridge in the Golden Boot race. It's just, it's fun.
Is he one behind or are they tied? I thought they were
I
tied.
think they're tied.
Oh,
They're both
Unless,
tied at 7.
yeah,
all right.
I'm pretty sure
I
it's
went and looked. But the stats I look at, I don't know when the websites update. I think it was at Opta. But
yeah, they're both at 7 right now.
Okay, they're both at 7. Never mind. All right, good. Opta, update your stats. Yeah, good stuff. And I pulled from Opta some of their their game stats, and another one. Folks are noting that FC Dallas's possession numbers continue to tick up. 8 shots on target, just a good one. And I think to the other side of this, I think the balance side, which is I've seen a lot of folks writing about, our friends at like Big D and Third Degree and others, is just like, hey, the clean sheet. We haven't been seeing those super a lot. Last game, I know Michael Collodi had some goalkeeping moments that he definitely would like to take back. But I think the whole back line had some gaffes that they would like to take back and not let Houston back into the game as they did 2 weeks ago. But this was a solid professional performance. Collodi found the saves he needed to find. The defense stood up. I mean, I thought Collodi really bounced back well in this one. Had a couple clutch saves that just kept DC way out of the picture. But overall, I think this balance, I think, is kind of what we've been looking for from this team. And I guess we think about the things we learned. Chris, is this the blueprint going forward? For FC Dallas to have this kind of balance on both sides of the ball. And this kind of their identity. You're not going to score 4 goals in every game, but if you keep things tight at the back, and we haven't kind of seen that quite, in spots here and there in this season, but is this a good sign that they kind of want to build on going forward?
I think so. I mean, I think it's kind of a statement to, using the midfield's a great example. They have such a number of players that you can rotate in, and I think their game plan moving forward is kind of the same. It's very tactical. It depends on who they play. If they play a LAFC or a Vancouver coming up at some point, they're probably going to sit back a little bit further, and they're going to allow to almost park the bus for a little bit and try and get vertical with passes over top. I think we saw it a lot in the Nashville game specifically. Or sometimes they'll high press quite a bit, out of nowhere, on a team that they feel like that maybe they can take advantage of, for Houston, or against a DC United where they just, I just feel like they kind of just controlled the whole game. They were slightly outpossessed, but the goal differential or the XG between the two of them was 2-0.6, so I think it's really, Quill's done a great job of kind of finding out maybe what the opposing team's kind of weaknesses are and shifting his sort of midfield and his team to kind of cater to that. And it's worked out really well so far. Even some of the losses have been, or the tie, the draws, everything's been super close, really impressive performances. There hasn't really been one, aside from maybe Houston, which we dominated the whole game, that you're like, man, I feel like this should have been a lot better than it was, So that, I think that's been pretty pleasing so far. We're not like, man, here's the 4-0 draw, loss that we have to whoever. So overall, pretty pleased.
Yeah. And yes, confirm me. I just had my other tab open from FC Dallas, and yes, 7th goal of the year. So Opta has not updated their chart, their tally. So yes, tied with Sam Surridge. Who would have thought that? And yet, based on what Musa did last season with much more limited service, maybe we shouldn't be surprised, right? Yeah, I mean, Kuv, did you like the balance in this game of both sides of the ball for FC Dallas? Maybe the first time this season that we've really seen that comprehensive kind of performance.
Yeah, 100%. I would say it's the first game where I'm not sitting here complaining about a really big missed chance, whether in the attack or in the defense. It's the one game where I'm not like calling out anything really. I mean, it's all positives for me. I mean, not really many negatives. Which, as a fan, that's good to see. And then also as someone who overly analyzes these games, it's also something really good to see. I rewatched it yesterday during Easter festivities at my buddy's house. We were just wanting to throw on the XFL, but they were like, "No, let's have family time." So me and him kind of snuck and started watching the Dallas game again, and we were watching it and analyzing it. And something that I liked is just the defense with Nolan Norris in there looks way better than how we started the season. And it's one of those where I'm not gonna lie, a back three of Norris, Osaze, and Ibiaga, it doesn't look half bad with Shaq at right wing back. Now, do I think Shaq looks more comfortable in right center back in his point of career right now? Yes. But his quality of service is one of those things that at right wing back he still has. And Johansson, I think, is better. You see him in Sweden last year, and then also with how he played for the national team, he has a little bit better quality on the ball than Shaq, but he's still getting used to the league and still adapting and everything for how Krill wants him to be using the system. It's one of those you see Shaq already spent 6 months, 8 months, whatever last year in the system, and you can see like, hey, we can shift the defense now. Which again, beginning of the season, I don't think any realistic FC Dallas fan would have been like, yeah, I'm confident in the defense being able to be rotated in and out with center backs and right wing back and everything else. No one would have told you that. So it's one of those. It gives me confidence that the midfield can be shifted out if anyone gets hurt. Defense can somewhat be shifted out. I'm not saying obviously we have an amazing defense or great depth, but it's one of those like it taught me that Quill really has these guys for a reason, and they all fit the system, and the system is only getting better as we play more with it, and it is expanding with different versions. There's some higher pressing, lower pressing, a little bit defensive block, high line. Like there's different versions of this team to where no team can sit there and pinpoint exactly how we're going to play, which did bite us a little bit last year with some of these home games where we were drawing. Is that they knew how we were going to play. We didn't want the ball. We wanted to fight, and they just held the ball. So it's one of those we're learning how to play without the ball. We're learning how to play with the ball, and this team is just overall getting better and using this 3-5-2 to turn into a 5-4-1 at times in defense to then attacking a 3-4-1-2 and stuff like that. It's just so many different moving pieces. It's like a chess game 24/7, and this soccer nerd loves it. So
Good stuff. Uh, another little nugget from this game is, of course, Santi Moreno made his debut in the 84th minute, and of course, really generated the sequence that led to Musa's goal. But looked dangerous, looked good. I mean, you could argue, oh, it's garbage time at that point, but good. They're going to bring him on a bit slowly, kind of working his way in, but definitely looked good in that limited action. I guess that'll be a question mark there for Quill, is just how to bring him along, how to integrate him with the team. How soon does he start? It looks like there's no pressure with the kind of camaraderie that this team has. You don't need to force anything, but if he's good enough and he's going to keep creating those opportunities, why not, right? Why not, use him? And there'll be plenty of opportunities for that. I mean, any comments about his debut, Jose, Chris, Colin?
I'll let Chris go first.
Honestly, I was super pleased with it. I am excited to see how he's going to perform when he starts to get more minutes. But I mean, it felt like as soon as he kind of got on the pitch, he was already making an impact. And it's definitely a different style of holding up in the midfield that I think brings a little bit more depth to the team. But yeah, I was super happy about it.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I mean, we only saw him for a few minutes, but they were impressive looking minutes.
Yep.
You're like, hey, I don't mind him being a super sub, until he gets in a full game form. I liked what I saw. I mean, I'm ready for more.
Yeah, fun times ahead. I mean, to see how that we'll get to match predictions in a little bit, because we do want to turn to North Texas for a bit, and of course, North Texas also hit the road on the weekend. Traveled up to Sporting Kansas City 2. got the 4-1 road victory. And now, granted, it's the same conversation we could have with DC United in a way. The Sporting Kansas City too is not a great team right now. A lot of young guys. I mean, their goal scorer made his debut, and credit to him for taking advantage of that opportunity, I believe. But this was what North Texas needed. Just a really nice victory. Aggressive play. Natty James with a brace. Uh, Ed Duniz with his fifth or fourth on the year. And then Ospina got his first goal as midfield. Really nice. I tried to find the clip of it, but I couldn't find it on social media. So otherwise, I'd be sharing it in a looping fashion. It was just a really nice goal. But overall, too, just other than the big mistake at the back by Demora that led to the easy goal for Sporting Kansas City, too, this was also a pretty comprehensive, confident victory for North Texas. And I just feel like that's what they've needed after the last two games. Just a good, confident victory. And now they get to turn around and play Sporting Kansas City 2 at home. And I know they're going to be hungry for more. So, Chris, your thoughts on this big win for North Texas?
Yeah, no, I think you said it perfectly. It was one of those just kind of dominating performances, similar to FC Dallas in a lot of ways. I do think, if you think of like prospectively, I do think Sporting Kansas City 2 is significantly worse than like what DC United is in the MLS.
Sure.
Just with so many different, players being signed the last minute for this, academy and, the next pro team. But, I was happy. I was glad to see Natty James kind of, finally make his appearance, and finally, it seems like he's gotten some confidence to be able to take shots from further out. And, I think we were kind of missing that with Simmons being with FC Dallas, but it was exciting. Nice has continued to kind of separate himself from the pack as being probably the catalyst for this offense, just a superior player. And then I think also one thing that might get overlooked is I think having a guy like Swan in the midfield is super important, because he brings kind of that leadership. He's been with North Texas all last year, played a ton, and then now he's kind of the leader in the locker room for a lot of reasons. And they're 2-0 when he's on the field. So I don't know. I think he just brings another depth to that team and connects the ball really well from the two different halves. But I think the only kind of worrying part moving forward is it still seems like the goaltending is going to be kind of an issue for us potentially moving forward. Nico Montoya has been hurt, but even when he was healthy, I never thought he was going to be the number one guy. In my opinion, he didn't overly impress me last season. I know he's developed quite a bit, but Demora hasn't been super impressive. I do like Aiden Jordan. I think he's talented. And I think Birchfield is a good long-term prospect, but there's no real guy there. When Michael Collodi was at North Texas, he was the guy. Last year, Harms kind of came onto the scene at the end of the season. I mean, he developed super well, and I still wish we held on to him, but glad to see he's doing well in Madison. But this year, there's nobody's there. Like nobody, it's like someone's job to take, and nobody wants it. And I think that's the kind of frustrating thing for me. And I'd be curious Jose's thoughts. But yeah, I mean, not to get lost in the weeds, was overall happy with the performance.
Yeah, I just want to say it was, this is a team that was there to be beaten, and you should beat teams like this. They're just their team, for whatever reason, doesn't take MLS Next Pro very serious, and they year in year out roll out bad teams, and not necessarily bad teams, just young teams, and not at a high level, of competence and comprehensive win on the road. I agree that there's no currently no keeper that stepped up and made it theirs yet. But I want to push back a little on Collodi being the man. Collodi wasn't the man at the beginning of the season. He made it his position because we still had Carrera back then, and everyone assumed that Carrera was going to be the guy, and that didn't happen. Collodi came in, showed that he belonged, and made it so much easier for FC Dallas to part with Carrera, who we all thought was going to be the man. At least I know I did, and I think it's a good problem to have early on. I mean, I think it's the issue that you give him till midseason to see if somebody pulls ahead, and if not, you've got a academy and college guys that would be willing to jump in and take that you could reach out and bring back if you need to. So other than that, I still believe this is one of the most talented North Texas squads that we've had in a while, not gelled yet, and I'm not all concerned with the fact that they lost two road matches and are currently sixth place because, frankly, the MLS Next Pro schedule is completely unbalanced. All three of the top three teams in the West have played more home games than road games. Uh, and the next three teams, North Texas being one of those, 4, 5, and 6, have played more road games than home games. So it's too early to tell. All I can tell you is this team is very talented, and beating teams you're supposed to beat. That's a good confidence builder, and I think they'll do the same next week. They'll turn around and play only their second match at home, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's another 4-1 W.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, I just with this young side, I just want to see that confidence build, that sense of that guys solidifying their spots and gaining that experience, and just this team kind of taking on this identity. And I think we've just seen that some up and down play at the beginning of the season, but it's kind of to be expected. This really is a different looking team from last year, and then not a ton of continuity, and especially guys coming out of the senior team. It's always, I'm sure, challenging to work with that. But I think we saw a glimpse again tonight of just what's possible for this young side. And yeah, Chris, good point about Natty James. I think we've seen his explosiveness. We've seen what he can bring. We just haven't seen it kind of put together yet. And I think, he's a guy with experience, almost kind of in a way. Well, I guess, he's in a different league, but, we've all been expecting if they brought him in that they see something in him. And so we've seen sparks of that, but it was really nice for him to see that confidence. Hopefully they can keep it up and keep it rolling. I guess we'll shift. Let's do some match predictions as we start to kind of close things out. Let's do North Texas first. North Texas again. I think Jose, you already mentioned yours for another 4-1
Yes.
victory. I've been all about lately just thinking like, hey, sometimes I don't need a 4-0 beat down. I'm fine with just a 2-0 just a 2-0 confident. But the way this one went, I think it's got to be 3-0. I think they clean up a little bit the mistakes, so they show some improvement there. But I think a 3-0 victory at home for North Texas. Keep climbing up that table, Chris.
Yeah, no, for everyone listening, I think we have to say that we are not planning these match predictions ahead of time, because the fact that we continue to get the same score each week, it's totally not planned. Because I'm going 3-0 as well. I think it's going to be just another, dominating performance. That is not to overlook them, not to be too cocky, but as Jose mentioned, Sporting Kansas City too, just has a history of just not really caring too much about the Next Pro. And I mean, to be fair, they've got their hands full with the first team and trying to figure out what's going on with that. So, I mean, I guess I get this year, but yeah, I'm going 3-0. And I'm going to say Nice gets on the score sheet twice with goals.
Right. Nice. Colin?
I'll give my takes on the game we just played, and then also predictions. I'm gonna stick with my boy Nice. That man is a dog, and I called it from week one. That's all I'm gonna say. I was on the Nice bandwagon. I'm still on it. That man is there's a reason he was projected top 5 pick in the draft, right? I mean, there is a reason he was projected so high, but a lot of people didn't want to spend an international spot on him. Little did they know, or many of them want to know, that there's the little North Texas SC or the MLS Next Pro loophole where, yeah, he's an international. Let him play with North Texas. You don't have to sign him to a FC Dallas Pro contract.
We lost him, but he's right. There's similarities. I believe Charlotte is doing the same thing. They've got a international player that everyone's stunned isn't with the first team.
Oh,
Same.
here we go.
Carry on.
I'm back. My fault. My fault.
Sorry.
We cut you
I had a
off.
phone call coming through. The girlfriend's wanting to talk. She's like, I'm on the Everton East train too. She wanted to get on here and talk. But it's one of those for me. Like it just shocks me that more teams don't take punts on these players that you know are good quality and young. You don't have to sign them to these first team contracts. You can play them with your second team, and then worst case scenario, keep that spot open for mid season. And if they become good, like that's the one thing with Nice is I believe we would have to sign him to an FC Dallas contract to get him to play with the first team. But it's one of those, like I was saying earlier, the midfield's so stacked. I don't think that's an issue for us this year. But it's one of those. I'm very confident he's obviously going to be the playmaker, the person that pulls the strings. I just hope he does get his chance with FC Dallas eventually. But moving on to the predictions, not to copy Chris, but I'm going to go 3-0 as well. It's just one of those. I mean, we put it on the road. It's 4-1. Maybe SKC2 does a little bit better. Obviously, seeing how we play, maybe they make some adjustments that work and prevent us from scoring a little bit. But it's one of those two where we played a. You look at the lineup graphic and it's like, what the hell is this lineup? But if you know ball, you're able to. I think I made a post about it. If you know ball, you know how you know where everybody's playing and everything. Augusto's not playing left back. Lewis wasn't playing right back. Garcia wasn't playing left wing. Like it's like you know where to put these players at. I can see us putting out a similar lineup or even like rotations. The defense has a really good rotation this year too. So it's one of those things where I'm not worried about it. I think we win comfortably. And it's one of those, like you were saying with the goalkeepers, like they're constantly like a little bit of rotation. I could see them throwing someone else out there, giving some minutes against a SKC side that's not that great. So I'd say 3-0 or 3-1, but I'm gonna lean at 3-0, of course.
Just a little side note here. Sporting was at home, which allowed them, to bring in players from their senior team down if they wanted to. They won't have that option on the road, and
Yep.
I would not be stunned at all if this is a comp or more. I'm sorry, but just being realistic, it's a mismatch. If North Texas doesn't walk out of there with a W, I would then have to reassess this team.
Good stuff. Confident predictions. Let's do FC Dallas now, welcoming St. Louis City in town. According to our buddies at, let me pull it back up. 615 Soccer. They cover Nashville. They have some really cool tools, but they have St. Louis right now on the bubble. FC Dallas definitely as a contender, almost poking in toward elite status. They got some work to do, I think, by their metric. But St. Louis, certainly not a bad team, but a team that hasn't been at their best. Are in some midst of some changes as well. But I think this is one you got to win at home, and FC Dallas is going to have the right amount of confidence to take care of business. It probably won't be the 4-0 beatdown that we might hope for. How much fun that would be, but a 2-0, maybe a 2-1, but you gotta go 2-0. You got the defenses cannot be scared of what St. Louis brings to the table. But not that they're a bad team, but I mean, this has got to be a home run. So, what do you guys think? How FC Dallas matches up against St. Louis City in this one?
I'll go first. I'll go first. They're very similar to DC United. They're a team that's considered a solid defensive team, but not a very good offensive team. They have 5 goals on the season, 8 goals allowed. And I'm going to go 2-0, but I do want to say that St. Louis is not as bad as DC United. If anyone thinks DC United is bad, that is. They've got 3 games on the road, all tough. They lost 2-0 at San Diego. They lost 2-0 at LAFC, but they're coming off a 1-1 draw at New York City. So really solid showings, road showings for this team. They will be a tough out, but I'm going to stick with 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going with 2-0
also,
as well.
because they're not a high scoring team. This is a team that, if they fall down 1-0, it changes the game completely. And FC Dallas scores early. You could see a run back of last week, but I think St. Louis keeps it close. And those goals probably don't come until the second half.
Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm glad Jose mentioned, if FC Dallas scores early, because I think the way this game plays out, I think Barrington gets another early one. Kind of, he's had this run of form of getting that first one for Dallas and kicking things off. I think they end up winning 3-1. I think another kind of high performance. I think Musa gets 2. And I actually am going to call a Moreno assist. He was so close this past week finding Benjamin. So I think he ends up, yeah, I think he's going to get an assist and maybe a couple extra minutes too. But yeah, I'm going 3-1.
All right. I'll go 2-0, as I said. I mean, I agree with Chris. I think that what's been fun about FC Dallas is that we've been getting some early goals. We've been finding a way to just sort of, take advantage of the team trying to sort of get their foot in the game and go over the top. And I don't know what Logan has changed about his first touch on some of the, but it's nasty, it's beautiful, it's profound, it's the beautiful game, and I think that's going to continue. I don't know how Quill, even if you justify Moreno getting to start or whatever, you got to start Farrington right now. The guy's in great form. You can't bench Musa. This is a challenge. So. I like that to get that goal early and then finish him off over the course of the game. Colin, he's quick predictions.
I'm going 3-0, and the reason I say that is yes, St. Louis is perfect. Is like a really good defense. Took it out too quick, boss. It's a really good defense, but it's also one of those where I just think this attack and midfield is pushing on all cylinders. And St. Louis has played not really major teams are going to press them. A lot of teams that just dominate the ball and then wait to win it back. They haven't really placed a pressing team. And when they went up against Charlotte, Charlotte was able to do really well against them in St. Louis. They really haven't really faced that on the road where a team's going to go out and just dog you with possession. Usually you're playing on the back foot away from home. So I think we're going to overwhelm them, probably get some easy takeaways like San Diego, where we have literally just shots and getting the balls in their own half and everything. It's just one of those things. I think we just dominate that game and everything. So
That's cool.
Good stuff.
FC Dallas soccer. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, all right. Well, let's leave it there, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time tonight. It's been a nice little break there, but we're back. We're back in action. I know there's World Cup stuff looming. We've got interesting news looming ahead, but right now we had some fun soccer this past weekend. I think we're going to have another round this weekend, so lots to look forward to. Of course, everyone, thanks for subscribing, supporting Afterburn.soccer. Of course, following all of us on social media. We appreciate the support. We try to help grow coverage of this team, of this league, in a big year for soccer here stateside. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Jose. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Coop.
Thanks, guys.
Night, everyone.